they have audio. You need one of those messages.
I know. Not over yet.
It's the Russians. It's the Russians.
Yeah, you know. Okay. I just totally went dead.
You trying to reset your computer? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, but nothing. I got nothing. My computer's totally dead.
Oh, good old technology.
I know. I'm so good. Let's start that one. Okay.
Might be your, you try a new plug?
Give it a try.
Oh, power? No, I don't.
It got postponed from Monday to
Yeah.
all of a sudden.
I know.
Nice to see you.
So you think
Oh, thank you. Get right?
you never think of your father anymore? Is it Norman? Yeah.
Yeah. And we still work together.
How old is
He's 82.
still work?
Yeah. And he's working hard. I mean, he's like so busy. I'm very fortunate. Like, I'm in court all the time.
I know,
He's
yeah.
doing the office stuff. So we just work really
You said he
well.
was a great guy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're totally different.
Really? You're not a great guy.
No. One day he threw somebody out of the office, and I knew something was wrong with that person.
Oh God, right. It's
not
like
him.
it's not. It must be really must have crossed the line.
Yeah, Charlie was a character.
Mr. Chair, I am trying to get back in. Can you hear me?
He does criminal defense. Yeah. Well, he's at Ford's office now. He had his own office like across the street from the Meriden courthouse.
Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
COVID and stuff. He was in the office. They went through a criminal case.
I know.
By executive order suspended the right to a speedy trial. Right?
I know. It's only a little constitutional thing.
That's right.
Hello, I'm testing. I'm trying to talk. Mr. Chair, can you hear me?
We can hear you, Representative Cloud. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're just getting started.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so just hold tight.
Well, I'm over it.
Well, he's really that's what I was worried about. Why didn't I submit? It was too brief. I should have just submitted like a quick little motion.
Yeah, but I read that.
I know that's what I mean.
Impressive. So I wanted to read print.
Right.
You know? So you get some of these that do extreme notices,
I know.
How many months of articulation have we done during our careers, right?
Right,
Because the judge says, granted.
Yeah.
So why? I made the best argument in the world. I have no idea why you granted that motion,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Test, test.
You essentially had a public hearing. So, this is a problem.
And you gotta do them within 30 days, right? I don't know how you do this to do your job. Yeah. Where's your wife coming in from?
Flying out of Texas.
Oh, she is?
We have a
Oh, you do? Whereabouts? Not in golf?
Yeah, well, every time I go there, my accent, I get
You have
the
like a
accent.
low voice too.
That's 3 packs of cigarettes a day.
Oh.
Right? I used to 3 packs, and now I play ice hockey. I'm wrong.
I'm alright too. Although this COVID thing that I had a month ago, I still have to cough that. I haven't run.
Yeah.
Did you get it?
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, I haven't been
Yeah, the cough went for a while.
like how long?
2 weeks. My wife lost her sense of smell for like a month.
And I'm still not existent.
She was getting depressed over that situation.
I would be depressed if you can't grow flowers or cut grass.
I was having her eat all that healthy stuff that she refuses to eat. Like she hates the taste of ginger. But ginger's good for you.
Yeah.
So I was like, here's some ginger. You can't taste it, right? But it's good for you.
Here's some cod liver oil. It's delicious.
Oh, I love kale. I do kale chips. I've got a
So you're a real
dryer.
healthy person.
I try to be. I do in some stuff.
I think,
It's American. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not vegan.
It is good.
I just started taking zinc. Everyone's saying.
It's like every other day.
Every
That'll
other
keep
day?
it away. Yeah. That's one of the great things about COVID is I got back in a garden.
Well, I could do the steak. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
And what, like vegetables? Or?
Yeah, vegetables.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I used to go into 2 gyms because I used to play with kids. Well, I gotta be. And when they shut down the gym, I bought like every piece of equipment. I had my basement at the house was empty.
Yeah.
Empty.
Yeah.
So now I've got treadmill, an elliptical, leg press,
Wow.
bench press, the big cage, with the cables and all that
I
stuff.
like the T-Rex. That T-Rex is like the cable.
I know the T-Rex.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't need the T-Rex because I've got the
Oh, I know what
landmines.
you're talking about. Yeah.
I've got the landmine machine.
Yeah. Well, I went last week. I go to the
Thank you. Representative Michelle votes yes.
I take it we haven't fixed the problem. Rep. Godfrey, can you hear me?
I can.
Hmm.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can, but this is the first time I've heard anything
Okay.
in a while.
Well, where are we and what are we doing? I lost connection and had to come back.
Yeah, well, I think they were having technical issues. We're in Judish, listening to the judges. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I love
Deb's not there,
technology,
so-
but only when it works.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I will continue to hold. Thank you.
Me too.
Representative Palm? I don't hear myself. Representative Palm?
Yes, I am here.
Perfect, thank you.
Are we all set to go?
Almost. Thank you, Representative Palm. Okay. Now.
All right, we would like to reconvene the Judiciary Committee public hearing. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. Sorry for the technical difficulties. All right, are there further questions for Ms. Knight? Representative Palm.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm sorry for breaking the system. Thank you to the wonderful OLM people for fixing it. I wanted to say how great it is that we have these hearings where we can get to know the candidates a little better. And ma'am, I appreciate very much your candor about your youthful indiscretion. And as Senator Winfield said, there is a difference between story and resume. And I think you're adding that fleshes out who you are as a person. I have similar examples like that in my own past, in my own family. And I would call this examples of white privilege. And I believe that on this committee, we accept that term and its role in our society to varying degrees, but I have no doubt that every member of this committee cares deeply about social justice. So with that in mind, I would ask you, if you are made a judge, when people come before you who have less influence, fewer resources than you had, and which I had as a child, would your decision be informed by your own past and your own, what I would hope would be an acknowledgement of that privilege, and that not all families have that? Would you keep that in mind, or would that play any role in your decision in judging others?
It's such a part of who I am and what I read about, and my recognition that I am extremely privileged being a white female growing up in Orange and Hamden. And I often, I see some of my clients who've been in the criminal arena, and some of them are just so incredibly smart, like just innately smart. But because of their particular socioeconomic backgrounds, they didn't have a chance to make it like I did. And it's one of the things that bothers me as a person. And I've done my best to educate myself about this issue. So I promise you, it's something that I will always think about and recognize if I had the privilege to become a judge.
Thank you for that, and thank you for not being defensive in my use of that term. I think people like us, if I may say what us means, can be very resistant to the notion, and it's time that we stopped doing that. And I appreciate very much your response and your candor, and I wish you all the best.
Representative Palm.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments from the committee? If not, Attorney Knight, thank you for bearing with us, and congratulations on your nomination.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Next up will be Elizabeth Leeming. I apologize. It's Leeming, is it not?
Okay. I'm used to it.
My mistake. You should imagine how many variations of staffstrom we hear in a given year. So, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information you provide to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great, thank you. Have a seat, and whenever you're ready, if you could just pull that microphone a little closer to you. You can go ahead.
Good afternoon. Chairman Staffstrom, Winfield, Ranking Members Senator Kissel, and Representative Fishbein, and distinguished members of the Judiciary Committee. I appreciate the opportunity to appear before you today. I'm incredibly grateful and humbled to have been nominated by Governor Lamont to serve as a Superior Court judge. I began my career in public service when I graduated from law school 30 years ago. My first job was as a prosecutor for the 20th Judicial Circuit in Southwestern Florida. After 2 years, I was asked to take over the felony child abuse docket, where I discovered a passion for this particular area of law. That passion led to the development of a specialty in this area, one that I continue to enjoy to this day. In 1995, I returned to my home state of Connecticut to be closer to my family and began my career with the state of Connecticut. I spent most of my career in the Tallinn Judicial District. However, in 2019, I accepted an opportunity to work in the Wyndham Judicial District as a supervisory assistant state's attorney. This position has given me the opportunity to work with an exemplary group of professionals, both within the state's attorney's office, as well as our courthouse as a whole. I am particularly grateful to have had this opportunity, as it gave me a firsthand perspective of the depth and breadth of the mental health and opioid crises impacting our corner, just as it has across the state. In this role, I continued to work tremendously hard on behalf of victims and the community at large, but was equally invested in working on solutions to assist defendants rehabilitate themselves, oftentimes with limited resources at our disposal. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my family, because without them, I wouldn't be here before you today. Raised in the New Haven area, I come from a second-generation large Italian family, surrounded by an extended family of grandparents, aunts, uncles, and too many cousins to count. My upbringing was filled with time-honored traditions, Sunday dinners, lots of love, and a lot of really good food. My parents taught my siblings and me that if we worked hard and with integrity, there was nothing that we couldn't do or be. The foundation that I was fortunate enough to have as a young person has been the driving force behind my desire to improve the lives of the children I have worked with and for over the last 30 years. I have learned that there is nothing more validating for a child that has been abused than to be believed and supported. By giving them that, I have seen so many of them not only survive, but flourish despite what they have had to endure. In closing, I'd like to thank my husband and our children for their love and support. I can only hope that I have shaped them as much as they have shaped me as a parent, a partner, and a human being, to be open-minded, patient, compassionate, and fair. I am deeply honored and excited for the opportunity to serve the people of the state of Connecticut if I am given the privilege of your confirmation. I welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Representative O'Day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attorney Leeming, good to see you. Congratulations on your nomination. I think I know the answer to this question I'm about to ask, having known you for over 30 years. But for the benefit of the committee, can you tell us why, or can you assure us that you will not be afflicted with robitis should you be elevated to the bench?
Thank you for the question. And yes, I can assure you that that will not be a problem for me. When I think of that question, I think of the fact that I don't necessarily believe that being given the privilege to serve on the bench changes a person into something that they're not, that they don't have the propensity to be. So while nobody has a crystal ball, most of us know ourselves well enough. And I know that I don't share any of those characteristics. I think people that know me personally and professionally know me to be a very thoughtful, considerate, respectful, and humble person. So I know myself to be that way. I truly believe others see me that way. So I don't believe that that should be a problem for me if I am given the privilege of the confirmation.
Well, I'm positive you will not be afflicted with robitis, having known you for so long. And as far as working at least 9 to 5 anywhere assigned, even Stamford, Connecticut. Having tried a case in Rockville, Tolland many years ago, and seen you there, that ride is terrible. But would you be willing to serve anywhere that the judiciary assigns you?
Absolutely. Anywhere needed.
Well, thank you. It's a privilege to see you there. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for your years of service to the state.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Attorney Leeming, and congratulations to you and your family. I have to mention your husband, Dean, who he and I have known each other decades, played a little college football, and he also served the judiciary as a chief juvenile probation officer with distinction. I see in your notes here that you did prosecute a lot of sex offense crimes, having supervised sex offender units over the years. That's a difficult thing to do, and in my inquiries, you've done an outstanding job protecting victims and have a stellar career as a prosecutor. And I just wanted to mention that to you, and it's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Howard.
Good afternoon, Attorney Leeming. Thank you for being here. Congratulations. You come with high praise from your colleagues that I know. I'll remind Representative O'Day that all of Eastern Connecticut is a beautiful place full of wonderful people. But as you've heard me say to previous nominees, the pretrial conference and pretrial adjudication, the judge plays an important role in mitigating that and finding what's best for the defendants. Can you just speak a little bit about how you would approach that using your experience?
I recognize that my entire career has been in the field of criminal prosecution. I would be changing hats if selected or confirmed to become a judge. I do think many of the same skills that I've used throughout my career as a prosecutor can be utilized effectively as a judge, even though the role will be different. We craft, oftentimes without a judge's intervention, on a daily basis, hundreds of cases, agreements, and a multitude of cases. In the GA, where I've been the last 2 years, any given day, you're dealing with a lot of cases, you're working with the defense, you're looking at the backgrounds of the individuals before you, you're looking at the impact of the crime on a victim, you're looking at whether or not there's mental health or substance abuse driving the offender's behavior. You're looking at all those factors when you're trying to craft a disposition that's fair to everybody. That's what judges do too. And the value of having a judge intervene when the two parties can't reach an agreement, I foresee myself being in that role. And I find that the judges that do it the most effectively are the judges that are really well prepared. They know what the issues are. They know what the vulnerabilities are for either side, which they point out to either side as to what the risks are if you don't reach an agreement. So I think a lot of the same things that both defense counsel and the state do on a regular basis can be transferred into that referee role, which then ultimately the judge would hopefully have the ultimate say.
Thank you for that answer. And I will tell, say for the benefit of my colleagues, that the defense counsel up in Windham County offered the same opinion of you, that their experience with you as a prosecutor is that you sort of are playing that role now, always finding out what's best for everybody. So you come with high praise. I'm excited to support your nomination. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Senator Whitfield.
Yes, good afternoon. Just in answer to question 24 about have you ever been sued or had a formal claim against you, you said not for malpractice, but for a federal lawsuit. Is that the Mambo case?
That's one of them.
That's one. Okay, what's the rest of it?
I think on the other, the continuation page,
Mhm.
I think I had 3 total.
Okay.
So the most recent one that was, well, it's not malpractice, it was a federal lawsuit by the 2 young women, Mambo sisters, are related. And it was filed last year. There was an allegation that there was no probable cause found for their prosecution, their arrest and subsequent prosecution. Their cases began before I arrived in Windham. I inherited them as a supervisor of the GA court. I had minimal contact with them. I did handle, they were pretty vocal when they came to court. So I took over the files, handled them on 2 occasions. One occasion was when they were, they had 2 separate counsel. Then they both withdrew. Then they wanted to represent themselves. So I was present in court when the judge canvassed them as to their ability to represent themselves. And then there was one subsequent date a year later in which there was discussion about setting up their motions to dismiss based on lack of probable cause. I didn't really have much involvement on each of those occasions. I would call the case. The judge basically interacted with the litigants, determining if they could represent themselves and then whether or not we were going to move forward with the date for hearings. It was ultimately dismissed. The cases in federal court, they were filed down in the Maryland area. They were Maryland residents. They got dismissed ultimately up here in Connecticut as lacking any factual basis for the allegations. The judge referred to them as being, the allegations being speculative, what there had been a finding of probable cause by a judge. The lawsuit was actually against my predecessor, who was in my position when the cases came in, myself subsequently, 2 judges, and the clerk of the court. So the federal court pointed out that there wasn't a basis for the lawsuit, and also mentioned that these 2 young ladies had filed similar lawsuits in over 33 different courts since 2017. Our case ultimately resolved. So that's the federal side got resolved with the dismissal. Our case got resolved when they stopped showing up for court. So it's no longer pending.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments? Seeing none. Attorney Leeming, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you very much.
Next up will be Eric Lohr. If you could raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great, thank you. Have a seat, and whenever you're comfortable, you can begin your opening statement.
Thank you. Chairman Winfield and Staffstrom, Vice Chairs Flexer and Blumenthal, Ranking Members Kissel and Fishbein, and esteemed members of the Judiciary Committee. I thank you for this opportunity to come before you today, and I am both deeply humbled and highly honored by Governor Lamont's nomination and confidence in me to faithfully execute the duties of a Superior Court judge. To my children, Ross and Simone, who are seated to the rear of me, and also my wonderful wife of almost 19 years, Paula, also here today, and all of my family and friends, both here in Connecticut and across the nation, who are watching, including my mother, who's watching from New York City. I love you all dearly. This tremendous moment is bittersweet only because my maternal Aunt Barbara, my second mother, passed away and is not here to witness it, though I do feel her here with me in spirit. I truly have lived the American dream. I started out managing a McDonald's in inner city New York and thinking about what more was out there in the world. So at age 19, I enlisted in the United States Navy, despite not knowing how to swim at the time. True story. I then spent the next few weeks before shipping out to boot camp taking swimming lessons at the local YMCA. The Navy opened up an entirely new world to me. I served tours of duty as a nuclear prototype staff instructor here in Windsor, Connecticut, and as a reactor operator aboard a nuclear fast attack submarine down in New London, Connecticut. The Navy taught me that I could do anything that I set my sights on. And after being honorably discharged from the service, I decided to pursue a career in law. Fast forward 27 years, and after graduating with honors from UConn Law School, I've been a litigation associate at a law firm, a state prosecutor in the Chief State's Attorney's Office, a child protection assistant attorney general, and I've also headed the entire employment department within the Attorney General's office. I've conducted over 50 bench trials, picked 4 juries, and argued over a dozen appeals before the Federal Second Circuit Court of Appeals and the state of Connecticut Appellate and Supreme Courts. In my current role, I serve as the chief of the Civil Litigation Division within the Attorney General's office. And what that means in regular parlance is I supervise all of the office's defensive work. But the work of which I am most fond is my time as an adjunct professor at UConn Law School. At UConn, I've taught the street law in the high schools course every year consistently since 2007. And what I can tell you is that this hidden gem of a program pairs my law students with mostly inner city high school students in their classrooms every week for almost an entire semester. They learn about history, constitutional law, and basically how our democracy works. Through street law, I give these young people the tools and the confidence to know that they too can accomplish great things in life. A mindset which it took me decades of my own life to internalize. Confirmation by this body would be the honor of a lifetime and will increase my level of public service exponentially. I thank you all in advance and welcome any questions you may have of me.
Senator Kissel.
Thank you very much, Chairman Staffstrom. Attorney Lohr, I knew you'd be here. And again, it was my pleasure and honor to write a letter of recommendation to you, although I think the stars and the moon and the sun had already aligned by that time. So I'll just chalk it up to just good karma. As my colleagues are probably well tired of hearing, I'm very proud of the fact that I grew up in the town of Windsor, the first English settlement here in Connecticut, one of the grapevines on our state seal. And when we had a really nice chance to converse prior to me doing the letter on your behalf, but I just wanted to meet you, I told you that it was always that rumor when I was a kid growing up in town that there was this like nuclear base in Windsor, which most people were not aware of. So, you know, being the typical high school kids, we tried to drive in there one time, like on a late Friday night. And these 2 guys came out with submachine guns and said, turn around. And they weren't really happy that we were trying to do this. And you indicated to me during our conversation that these were really serious guys and that they would have shot us if we just continued pursuing what we thought was just a daring little prank on a Friday night. And indeed, very serious assignment. Although I make light of that, my friend and colleague, Senator Winfield, continues to serve his nation in public service, but was in the Navy, and your service to the Navy is well noted as well. In fact, Representative Fishbein said there weren't a lot of nominees with military backgrounds, and that's, I view as a plus. The fact that you find that your education component, especially bringing things to bear with young people, I got to be honest. I mean, even I, for those that might be watching, you know, it's nice to hear someone say you can do whatever you put your mind to. I'm not so sure I'm convinced of that with my own self. And people are chuckling over here, but, you know, self-doubt is just, you know, it's nice to be humble, but it's also, it's hard to believe that you can actually achieve everything that you might hope for. And you being here before us is an excellent example of someone that's a role model. Between you and I, and you know that I was a tri-chair with William Tong, our Attorney General. I'm glad that the judicial branch is going to steal you away from him, even though you've done such an exemplary job over in the Attorney General's office. You and I spoke about one of my favorite judges, Uka the Wise, and responding back to me. I know that you remember the story, and my colleagues chuckling, but there's probably not enough time this afternoon to go into that story. At some point, I will regale them with the wisdom, but it was a story of someone that used, in my humble opinion, common sense to solve a nettlesome problem. your humility just comes out. You're a really good person. To indicate to my colleagues, I think you just won a local race up in Granby on the Democratic slate. And I'm not so sure what the rules are, but something tells me you're probably going to have to step down from that. And the fact that you have young children who keep you in line and a loving spouse, you are young enough to have a whole new career burgeoning in front of you. And I'm just so excited for you because I think you're just going to be an excellent jurist in so many ways. And so I just want to say thank you for putting your name in there. Thank you for all your service to our nation and to our state. And I wish you the very best. Governor Lamont really hit it out of the park with your nomination. And it's not just because you're from my district and that I'm your state senator, I work for you, but it's because I had the opportunity to sit down and talk to you. And my poor aide, Kate McAvoy, had to knock on the door like 3 times saying, your time is up, your time is up. But I just think we're real lucky that you're before us this afternoon and that you're going to go out there and sit on the bench. And the people of Connecticut will be well served. So congratulations, Councilman.
Thank you, Senator.
Representative Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Laura, pleasure to have you here. Welcome to your family and to your children's Ross and Simone. Good job today. So you were rewarded with a soda. Nice job. You are truly a self-made man, and in my experience, judges on the bench perform quite well when they've made their way through life the way you have. So I think you're being here today and being nominated, congratulations. And I think the state of Connecticut gains for that. Thank you.
Representative Doucette.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And hello, Eric. Just wanted to say hi. We went to law school together. I remember you fondly from law school. And I remember you for your intellect, your affability. You were somebody who was well respected while I was there. And Senator Kissel's right. You were a role model, especially for us of your classmates and colleagues in law school who had less life experience, shall we say, being a little younger. But your military service and everything that you detailed in your personal story, I think it serves you well, makes you a fantastic nominee. I think we knew back then at UConn Law that you were destined for great things. So it's great to see you here today, and like Senator Kissel also said, I think was inevitable. And I was happy to hear you mention the street law. I remember that that was just starting, I believe, when we were at UConn Law. Is that right? Was that program up and running when we were there, or was it something that was just kind of getting off the ground?
Turn back downstairs to the first floor, room 1D. We are going to bring a laptop down to 1D and have you unfortunately zoom in from there because we're experiencing technology issues in this room here. All right. We'll pick back up with Attorney Laura when we get down there. So we stand in recess.
Sorry, guys, did I break the hearing? I did, huh?
You were the one.
Oh, man. I didn't want to be the one.
We were trying
What
to
did
tell
they
you.
did?
I don't think you could hear us when we were trying to tell you.
I couldn't hear it. Yeah, I couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I heard Steve at the end, but I couldn't hear anything.
We're just going to do full remote now. So we're just getting set up and we'll get rolling in a few minutes.
Did they tell you after the last one that was what we were going to have to do? They couldn't fix whatever the issue was the first time, or?
I think we just don't want to go through it again.
Yeah.
Even if they can. So this is the safer way, I think, to do it.
Wait for your.
Sure.
Madam Administrator, whenever you're ready, let us know. Attorney Laura, can we just test your mic real quick?
Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Representative Sasham, can you hear me?
Okay. Deb, are we good?
Representative, can you hear me?
I can, yeah. I'm just waiting on the administrator to tell us we're live and recording. Okay, all right. I'd like to reconvene our public hearing. Further questions for Attorney Laura. Representative Doucette, I think you had the
I don't hear any audio. Oh, of course, I got my speakers off still.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Are we good? Can we
go for it? Yep.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'd like to apologize to the committee for being the one that broke the hearing at this point in time. But more importantly, I would like to apologize to Mr. Lohr for disrupting the flow of the hearing. It sort of reminds me of when you ice a kicker in a football game or something like that by calling timeout. But I can assure you that's not what it was. But anyway, after all that, Eric, I just wanted to say hello. We went to law school together. I remember you fondly from law school. I remember you as someone of great intellect, of affability, common sense. And you were someone who was well respected while we were there by all of our peers. Senator Kissel was right that you are indeed a role model. It speaks to your experience and your story, as you told us, your military service. You were someone who was well respected and I think we knew was destined for great things and what finds us here today. And I also just wanted to say I was pleased to hear you mention street law course at UConn Law. I believe that was something that was just getting started when we were there. Is that correct? Was that even offered when we were there?
It was offered and it's been there for quite some time. In fact, the Secretary of the State, was the person that initiated it And she was reluctant to say just how many years ago, but it's been there for quite some time. Started off
That's right.
law and sort of migrated across the country.
I remember that now. Yes, I do remember that. Well, thank you for your service to that. Thank you for your service to the state. You have a great breadth of experience. You're going to be a fantastic judge, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Vice Chairman Blumenthal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'll try to be brief. I would like just to echo all the praise of your nomination by my colleagues, and also say as someone who's had the opportunity to work with you, Attorney Lohr, I just am really happy to see you before us today, ready to serve us and our state in a new chapter. I wanted to say that in my experience, you exemplified all the positive qualities of nukes, namely intelligence and competence, and defied all the negative expectations. Namely, you have great social skills. And Senator Winfield has that same category as well. So maybe we should adjust our expectations. But all joking aside, your resume, your story, they speak for themselves. Your record of service, multifaceted, speaks for itself. We're lucky to have you putting forward your name and your skills to serve our state on its bench. Congratulations on your nomination, and I look forward to supporting it.
Thank you, Representative Blumenthal.
Senator Winfield.
I love the way you cleaned that up, Representative Blumenthal. Attorney Lohr, congratulations on your nomination. Where did you go to Power School?
Down in Orlando.
Oh, you were in Orlando. I did Orlando as well. Good, good.
Orlando.
Yes, yes. I remember the place fondly before it closed down. You know, that for me was an important part of my development. And I'll just briefly tell you, unlike you, I didn't take the opportunity to learn to swim. I went to boot camp without learning that. And you remember you had to jump off the platform and then swim. Yes. Told me to jump off the platform, despite the fact that I could not swim. I jumped off the platform. So, but Power School was very impactful, and part of it was, as you know, the immense pressure that you are under at Power School, the notion that many people are going to fail out of Power School because of what it is, and also, for me at least, there was a lot of isolation because I was different. And I wonder if there are things that you take from that will inform you during your time on the bench.
What I can say is it was not the first time that I was different, so to speak. It will not be the last. It makes me cognizant of others who, if I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed, they feel that they may not get a fair shake or be viewed differently. That will not be the case. But for me, I just put my head down and did what I had to do. And you're right, you know, there are many people who failed out at every level of that program. And you just had to say, I'm going to do what I have to do, learn whatever I have to learn. And with regard to jumping off of the plank, so to speak, what else I will disclose is I knew that the requirement was to swim 50 yards. And so to this day, if the boat ever sank 51 yards from the pier, I'd be just fine. Anything more than that, I might have a problem, but.
Well, I appreciate that. My swimming is not as great as it used to be, but it's always good to see a fellow nuke. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, Senator. And there are a few more watching across the nation right now.
Further questions or comments for Attorney Lohr? Further questions or comments? If not, Attorney Lohr, congratulations. Thank you for bearing with us today, and all the best luck to you.
Thank you, Representative Stasham.
Next will be someone who is very familiar to this committee, Christine Rappillo, Chief Public Defender. Attorney Rappillo, I need you to just raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information you will provide to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Thank you. You can begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Staffstrom and Winfield, ranking members Kissel and Fishbein, and members of the Judiciary Committee. I've appeared before this committee on many occasions as an employee of the Division of Public Defender Services, and it's my honor to appear here today as a judicial nominee. I wish to thank Governor Lamont for the confidence he has shown in me by this nomination. I was raised in southeastern Massachusetts in a loving family, which included my grandmother, who moved in with us when I was 6. My father worked at a local bank. My mother was a parochial school teacher until my siblings and I started college. She then moved to the more lucrative job of public school teacher. My parents taught my sister, brother, and I the value of honesty, hard work, and compassion. After graduating from Wheaton College in Norton, Massachusetts, I moved to Connecticut to attend the University of Connecticut Law School. I met my husband, David, who's here with me today, through a law school classmate. He is an engineer, patient, logical, and supportive. We've been married 27 years and have 2 children, Abigail, who hopes to attend law school in the fall, and Stephen, who expects to graduate from college in May. They have sacrificed to help me get to this place in my career, and I owe them all my love and gratitude. My entire career has been spent representing poor people. Immediately after law school, I went to work at New Haven Legal Assistance, where I was assigned to the criminal law unit. NHLAA had a contract to take cases from the public defender's office, and I handled cases for accused adults and children. There were only 2 of us in the unit, so I needed to learn fast and not be afraid. I did my first jury trial in New Haven Part A about 18 months into my legal career. And at that point, I knew that my trial prep training from the Yukon Trial Clinic was very valuable, and it gave me good skills about swallowing your fear and moving forward to do what's right. I was hired as a public defender in the New Britain GA in 1993 and have worked for the Division of Public Defender Services ever since. I managed the Hartford Juvenile Matters Court for 12 years and became the agency's first director of delinquency defense. This position allowed me to work on juvenile policy and legislation. When the General Assembly moved administration of child protection and family representation to the division, management of that consolidation fell to me and the assigned counsel director, who's now my deputy chief. I was appointed as chief public defender in 2017, and it's been my privilege to lead the division and their staff through the pandemic. My colleagues at DPDS inspire me with their dedication and commitment to preserving the rights of our clients. My experience as a public defender and a manager have given me the ability to make quick but well-reasoned decisions. It's also given me perspective on how all citizens, but particularly the disadvantaged, need a fair and just court system to resolve disputes and provide due process. If confirmed, I will commit to being a fair and reasoned jurist. Thank you for the chance to appear before you today. I am excited to have this opportunity to continue in public service, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Questions for Attorney Rappillo? Questions for Attorney Rappillo? Just briefly, Attorney Rappillo, obviously, I think you are no stranger to this committee, as you know, but obviously you're taking on a very difficult, not only just having been a public defender, but having worked in some respects, quasi-legislative advocacy function within that office. Assure us of your transition from that role to neutral arbiter while on the bench.
I think my experience actually makes me well suited to move on to the area of being a judge. I've had the ability to be frontline in court arguing the law. I've had the privilege of working with members of this committee, members of the legislature, and other advocates to try to shape the law. So I have a real understanding of how much goes into it when this body passes a law. That the words mean that there's a meaning behind the words, and that there's an intent behind it. And it wouldn't be my job as a judge to give more meaning to that. My job would be to take the law and apply it to the facts in front of me. And I think my background gives me respect for that.
Thank you, Attorney Rappillo. Congratulations on your nomination. Certainly, I think we will miss seeing you before this committee. Maybe some of us will be here 8 years from now, but certainly not seeing you on the weekly basis like we've become accustomed to. I think we will all miss. We thank you for your service to the state for all these years and wish you the best in this new role.
Thank you very much. I'll miss appearing in front of all of you as well.
Next up will be Sherry Phoenix Sharpe. Ma'am, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information you provide to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. You can go ahead and make your opening statement.
Good afternoon, Senator Winfield, Representative Stafstrom, Senator Kissel, Representative Fishbein, Senator Flexer, Representative Blumenthal, and honorable members of the Judiciary Committee. Thank you for your service to the state of Connecticut. I also thank Governor Lamont for his service and for nominating me to be a Superior Court judge. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I appreciate his and Lieutenant Governor Biesewicz's support. Thank you also to my biggest champions, my family, friends, and an entire village of loved ones that support and care for me. Particularly, I couldn't have asked for better parents who raised my sister and me with unconditional love, guidance, and acceptance. I know my mother is anxious to see me this evening, and that my father is smiling down on me from above. And each day, my husband and my son bring me the greatest joy. My husband, Shadid, is an incredible spouse and father, and my son, Sheikh, at just a little over a year and a half, is already loving, smart, funny, and just about the most charming little guy you'll ever meet. I'd like to share a bit about how I came to sit before you today. During my second year at Florida A&M University, I was a passenger in a fatal car accident that resulted in the loss of a very close friend. I was encouraged to take some time off from school to deal with the trauma, but I was committed to timely completing my semester. Ultimately, I continued on a normal schedule through graduation with summa cum laude honors. While I have always been proud of my resiliency and ability to stay focused in spite of this challenge, it took many years for me to realize just how much I suffered emotionally from this experience. I started to assume that there must be something I was meant to do, trying to understand why I survived, but my friend did not. While I now realize that I'll never understand the why, I've come to embrace the impact of this experience on my desire to serve a purpose greater than my personal interests. Being an attorney has allowed me to help others overcome their own obstacles, advance equity, and support public health, safety, and welfare. I've practiced law in both the private and public sectors, nearly 7 years at Murtha Cullina LLP, 4.5 years at the City of New Haven, and a little over 3 years here at the state. During this time, I've been an active member of the Connecticut Bar Association, serving in various capacities as member and chair of committees and on the House of Delegates. I was an active member of the George W. Crawford Black Bar Association and formally served on the board of directors, including as secretary. I was also formerly an officer for the New Haven County Bar Foundation, and I'm a Connecticut Bar Foundation fellow. My range of professional experiences has confirmed my strong desire to serve the public. My life experiences have prepared me for the skill, focus, humility, and compassion that I think are important to offer the judiciary. I appreciate that the responsibilities of a judge are not easy, should not be taken lightly, and should be carried out with respect towards the law and the people it serves. I have a natural empathy for others and am drawn towards seeking justice. I cannot think of a better way to continue in public service than as a member of the state judiciary. And if recommended by this committee and confirmed by the legislature, I would serve with intellect, integrity, and a balanced temperament. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have, and I thank you all again for your service.
Thank you. Questions from members of the committee? Senator Winfield.
No question, just congratulations. Good to see you. I guess I won't see as many pictures of that beautiful baby of yours, but if I have to stop seeing them, this is a good reason. Congratulations.
Thank you, Senator Winfield.
Further questions or comments from the committee? further questions or comments? If not, Attorney Felix Sharpe, we have a mutual friend, Tom McCarthy, who reached out, I would say probably half a dozen times to make sure I didn't forget to send his best wishes, and he couldn't have spoke more highly of you. So congratulations on this nomination.
Thank you so much.
Next will be Charlie Reed.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon, Attorney Reed. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Representative Stafford.
If you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or on a penalty of perjury?
I do.
Go ahead with your opening statement.
Good afternoon, Chairman Senator Winfield and Representative Staffstrom, ranking members Senator Kissel and Representative Fishbein, and esteemed members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Charlie Reed, and it is the honor of a lifetime to be nominated as a judge of the Superior Court. I extend my gratitude to Governor Lamont for this opportunity to serve the people of the state of Connecticut. And I thank you for the invitation to discuss my judicial candidacy and to answer any questions that you may have. I'd also like to congratulate my fellow nominees appearing here today. And if confirmed, I look forward to working with all of you in the future. I grew up in Hamden, raised by two loving parents who instilled in me the values of honesty, modesty, hard work, personal responsibility, and academic achievement. My father worked at a manufacturing company in New Haven, and my mother was a homemaker. They were wonderful parents to my two older brothers and me. If they were alive, I know that they would be proud of this moment. I live in Hamden with my husband, Glenn Pearson, who is with me here today. Glenn and I have been together since 1994, and we're married in 2012, now approaching our 10th wedding anniversary. My life was forever changed for the better when I met Glenn 28 years ago today. I attended public schools and graduated from Hamden High School in 1982. I attended Northwestern University, graduating in 1986, and then went to law school at the University of Notre Dame, where I was a legal writing teaching assistant and editor of a nationally recognized law journal in my third year. Following graduation from law school in 1990, I worked as a litigation associate at Wigan & Dana in New Haven, where I handled a wide variety of civil litigation matters, including commercial, tax, utility, product liability, and medical malpractice cases. I was fortunate enough to work with some outstanding litigators, and I'm indebted to Wigan & Dana for the training that I received there. After I left Wigan & Dana, I joined a firm in Wallingford that would become known as Laughlin Fitzgerald, where I've worked since 1998 and have served as its managing principal for many years. Having run a small law firm, I'm intimately familiar with the challenges associated with juggling cases, serving clients, meeting the needs of the office, and making a payroll every 2 weeks. My civil practice has been a hybrid, handling cases for individual plaintiffs and also defendants as retained by their insurance carriers. I've tried jury cases to verdict for both defendants and plaintiffs in both state and federal courts, and have handled state and federal appeals. I can say that I have won most and lost only a few of my cases, but I've become a better lawyer every time I set my foot in a courtroom. Being an active litigator has acquainted me with many jurists and styles of judging, and I strongly believe that a judge must make each litigant, their counsel, and court personnel feel that they have been treated fairly, professionally, and with an ample opportunity to be heard. If I'm fortunate enough to be confirmed, I will strive to emulate the very best of our judges who fit that description. In addition to litigation, I've developed a practice as a private mediator and arbitrator. Since 2013, I've served as a court-appointed arbitrator and fact-finder in the New Haven Judicial District. In that capacity, I've issued over 60 written decisions and an equal, if not greater number as a private arbitrator. I've also served as a court-appointed special master at the request of Judge Robert Young to mediate a large number of cases that arose from a collision between a police cruiser and a public transit bus. Lastly, I've served as an attorney member of the grievance panel for Bethany, New Haven, and Woodbridge in the New Haven Judicial District. As a strong proponent of our profession, I've been active in local, state, and national bar associations and served as president of the New Haven County Bar Association in 2010 and 2011. I believe that my professional record and personal qualities reflect the integrity, equanimity, judgment, and intellectual rigor required to be an effective jurist, and I sincerely hope that you will agree. If I am fortunate enough to receive a favorable vote on my nomination, I pledge to apply myself diligently each and every day to the assignment that I receive and to accord respect to all those who appear before me, my colleagues, co-workers, and the judiciary that I represent. I respectfully ask for your vote in favor of my nomination, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions for Attorney Reed? Questions for Attorney Reed? If not, I will just remark, this robitis question that keeps coming up today. Certainly, Attorney Reed, I've been fortunate enough to know you get to know you over the last couple of years. I will submit to the committee for my interactions with you, and knowing your background, robitis will be the least of the issues we have. There will be no issues with robitis with you, I can assure everyone. And I am very happy to see you before 6 today.
Thank you. Robitis will certainly not be a problem. It's not in my DNA. It's not who I am. It's not how I treat people. Having run various organizations, I've dealt with a wide range of people and have been able to get along, I think, very well with everybody. So I appreciate that comment, Representative Staffstrom, and I can assure you and the other members of the committee that that will not be an issue.
Thank you. Congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
Next up will be Mary Elizabeth Reed. Good afternoon, ma'am. If you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information you provide to the committee will be the truth? Folks, we got some background noise in the room in there. Okay, let's try that again. Do you swear or affirm, as the case? Can you not hear us?
Sorry, Representative. I was hoping the music would come when I was done.
Quite all right. Let's try this again. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. Yeah, no, I was thinking maybe it was the Oscars that, you got you started to go too long or something. But anyway, whatever you're ready. Let's Kennedy.
Check 1 2 3 3 2 1. Check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 3 3 2 1. Check 1 2 1 2. Check, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Can you hear us now?
Yes, yep.
Do you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were hearing the same thing we were. Okay, so we're gonna move. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, Attorney Reed, are you with us? Can you?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right, and we can hear you. I think we are good. And I think we swore you in. We are all set. We are ready for your opening statement.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Chairman Staffstrom, Chairman Winfield, Ranking Members Kissel and Fishbein, and distinguished committee members. My name is Liz Reed. I want to thank Governor Lamont for the extraordinary honor in nominating me to serve as a judge of the Superior Court. It is truly a privilege to appear before you all today, and I thank you all for your time. I grew up in Norwalk and was raised by incredible parents and grandparents. My father, who was a practicing attorney for over 40 years prior to his passing, would have been particularly proud that I am appearing before this committee today. My two sisters and I were raised with strong ethical and moral guidance. We were taught that you don't just live or work in a community, but you have a responsibility to serve and help grow that community. For the past 26 years, it has been my privilege and genuine honor to serve the Norwalk community in my role as a public defender. I have enjoyed working in the fast-paced environment of a busy criminal courthouse. I have represented thousands of clients during those years, and I am grateful to have had the opportunity to learn their stories, give a voice to their questions and concerns, and advocate strenuously on their behalf. Since 2001, I have been the supervisor of that office. I appreciate all of the amazing results my staff and I have been able to accomplish while promoting dignity in fellow human beings. During the last 8 years, I have also been a part-time adjunct professor teaching criminal justice and constitutional law at Norwalk Community College. Teaching legal and procedural principles has helped solidify the genuine respect I have for the entire justice process. Prior to being appointed a public defender, I served as a temporary assistant clerk in the Danbury Judicial District. This was my first legal job after passing the bar, and I learned so much about court procedure, staff cooperation, and being a team player. My work through the years has given me the great opportunity to develop many relevant and practical skills, and has rewarded me with daily lessons in life and humanity. On the day I graduated law school, my father said to me, "It is great to be well liked in our profession, but it is so much better to be well respected." I have kept those words in my heart and demonstrated them in my words and actions as I have navigated through a career that has brought me to this point. If I were fortunate enough to be confirmed, that is the type of judge I will continually strive to be. Thank you again for your time. I'm humbled and honored to be here, and I welcome the opportunity to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Senator Haskell.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And Attorney Reed, it is so good to see you. I just wanted to share very briefly with the, congratulations on your nomination. I wanted to share very briefly with the committee that I had the opportunity to be your intern in the Norwalk Courthouse. And I learned so much from you that summer, both in terms of our criminal justice system, how it works, how it doesn't, but I learned just as much, if not more, about people and how much, how long a little bit of humor and grace and compassion goes for folks who are having a really hard day. So thank you for the lessons that you've taught me. I'm so thrilled for the state of Connecticut about your nomination to the bench. And I wanted to just, I hate to embarrass you, but I want to ask a quick question about something that I'll never forget from that summer, which is a small cup of change that you kept on your desk that in my mind exemplifies public service and going the extra mile for those whom you serve. Do you mind saying a few words about why you kept that cup of change on your desk?
Thank you, Senator Haskell. So the cup of change is representative of getting a client home. You know, there's nothing worse than when a client is released from jail and they have no way to get home.
And I'm proud that I work in a division that has ethical standards in place where we can get that client home by bus tokens, bus passes, change, whatever needs to be done. And so that cup is a constant reminder of who we are and what we do and who we do it for, and really just getting people home.
Well, thank you for that answer. When I think about you, Liz, I think about going that extra mile and making sure that you don't just do the job of representing them in the courthouse, but you get to know them as people outside of whatever offense they've been accused of, and you look out for their well-being the next day and the day after that and the day after that, so that they can reconnect with their family, so that they can get a good paying job, so that they can find a place to live. Seeing the friendships that you've developed in the courthouse with what I always found so amazing, the friendships you developed with state's attorneys, folks who you had an adversarial relationship with in the courtroom, but then managed to, remain cordial, disagree, but never be disagreeable in that courthouse. It taught me a lot, and I'm so thrilled for you and thrilled for the state of Connecticut. So thank you for the time, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Attorney Reed.
Thank you so much, Senator Haskell.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments? Seeing none, Attorney Reed, congratulations on your nomination and best of luck to you.
Thank you, Representative. Thank you all so much.
All right, I'm gonna swap out here, and next will be John Riley.
Hello.
Hello, Attorney Riley. If you could raise your right hand for me, please.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. If you have an opening statement, you can go ahead and make it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is John Riley, and I'd like to thank Governor Lamont for nominating me to serve as a Superior Court judge, and to thank this committee for allowing me the opportunity to appear before you. I was born and raised in Hamden, Connecticut, where I continue to reside with my wonderful wife of 32 years, Pam, and where we have raised our 3 daughters, Tess, Olivia, and Hope. If I'm afforded the privilege of serving as a Superior Court judge, it will mark a return of service within the Judicial Department. In the summer of 1986, as a 23-year-old recent UConn grad, I was working as a construction laborer pouring the foundation for what was then a new addition to the Milford Superior Courthouse. While on that job, I received an offer of a position I had previously applied for, that of Child Support Enforcement Officer. I began that position in August of 1986, and my duties included appearing in court regularly to present cases. That experience motivated me to apply to law school. Upon acceptance to the University of Bridgeport School of Law, I applied for a transfer within the Judicial Department to the position of Family Relations Counselor. This provided me a broader range of court experiences while I attended law school at night. My duties included negotiating financial settlements in divorce cases, preparing reports, and testifying in court regarding contested custody cases, as well as providing domestic violence intervention in the criminal court. Upon graduation from law school, I joined the firm O'Donnell and Ionati in New Haven, where I was mentored by now Judge Frank Ionati. I immediately began litigating matters in civil, family, and criminal court. In fact, I was sworn in on a Friday in December 1992 and appeared on my own in Milford Superior Court that Monday to litigate a contested family law case. Since that time, I've tried cases in every division of the Superior Court. My civil cases have ranged from fender benders to wrongful death claims. My criminal experience has included everything from infractions to trying a murder case to verdict. I've also litigated cases in juvenile court. In addition, I have served for years as a court-appointed arbitrator in New Haven and as an impartial hearing officer for the Hamden Board of Education. In more recent years, I have focused primarily on representing plaintiffs in personal injury cases. I've also increasingly served as a private arbitrator to hear personal injury matters. It has been humbling and gratifying to be asked to serve in that capacity by my fellow attorneys from both plaintiff and defense bar. Attorneys who cannot agree on the value of the case apparently do agree they can trust me to render a fair and impartial decision. In my 29 years of practice as a trial attorney, I have represented people who are at the lowest and most stressful points in their lives. Those experiences have taught me that everyone who comes before the court, whether represented or pro se, deserves to be treated with respect, dignity, and patience. If I am given the opportunity to serve, I promise that I will never forget that and that I will never suffer from the affliction known as rovitis. I'll thank you and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir. Questions for Attorney Riley? Questions or comments for Attorney Riley? If not, sir, thank you for your patience of sticking out with us today. I did have the opportunity to meet your lovely wife in the hallway. Glad she's here with you. All our best congratulations on your nomination and good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up will be Amir Sheikh. Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
If you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and make your opening statement.
Good afternoon, Chairman Winfield, Chairman Staffstrom, Ranking Members Kissel and Fishbein, and other distinguished committee members. My name is Amir Sheikh. I want to thank Governor Lamont for nominating me to serve as a judge. If approved by this committee in the General Assembly, I will work hard to justify the confidence that has been placed in me. I was born in Karachi, Pakistan. Immediately following my birth, my family was transferred by my father's employer, first to San Juan, Puerto Rico for several years, and then to Chicago, Illinois. When I was 10, my family was transferred yet again, this time to Singapore. In truth, I spent the formative years of my life in a culture different than that of my parents. It is difficult to explain how the experiences in my formative years, growing up in multicultural and multi-religious Singapore, impacted my personality and my worldview. The truth is that when you don't belong to any one group, to succeed, you learn to belong to all of them. My early youth in Chicago taught me to navigate mainstream American culture. My adolescence in Singapore, attending the Singapore American School, provided insight into navigating Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Peranakan cultures and attitudes. When I returned to the United States in 1996 to attend Georgetown University, I quickly adapted and was able to navigate successful relationships with my peers, many of which last to this day. Importantly, my wife, Sophia, is a lifelong native of Connecticut. She has aided my love and understanding of the people of this great state. Connecticut is the place I have now lived most of my life. It is where I have raised my 4 children. It is my home. Since 2012, I have been engaged in the private practice of law. My current practice involves representing adults and juveniles who are facing charges in state and federal court. In addition, I have an extensive practice representing parents and children in cases brought by the Department of Children and Families, involving petitions for neglect and termination of parental rights. In closing, it is my life experiences, learning from other cultures and worldviews, that has provided me with the ability to consider multiple perspectives, which makes me uniquely qualified to be a judge in our state. I have been blessed with the support of friends, colleagues, and mentors throughout my life and career. I would not be here without them. I especially want to thank my wife Sophia, my children Ryan, Danya, Sarah, and Mira, my parents and siblings, my father-in-law and his wife. I strive daily to make them proud. I believe that I have the temperament and experience to serve the citizens of Connecticut as a judge of the Superior Court. I respectfully request your approval, and I welcome any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments from the committee? If not, Sheikh, congratulations on your nomination, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you, Senator.
Next up will be Kevin Shea.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Attorney Shea, if you could raise your hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. Go ahead with your statement, please.
Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, Chairman Winfield, Chairman Staffstrom, Ranking Members Kissel and Fishbein, and other distinguished committee members. My name is Kevin Shea. I am grateful to each of you for taking the time to consider my appointment and to Governor Lamont for nominating me. If approved, I will work hard each day to justify this tremendous honor. On a personal note, I was born and raised in Connecticut. I was blessed with two devoted parents and later an extraordinary wife. Colleen and I have been married now for more than 17 years. We are the proud parents of two incredible teenagers and a loyal and lovable canine. Apart from my family, there is nothing I am more passionate about than public service. I have coached baseball, basketball, and soccer. I've moved sets at my daughter's ballet school. I've served as a volunteer firefighter and an EMT, and as an auxiliarist with the U.S. Coast Guard in New London. I was educated at the University of Notre Dame and UConn Law. I began my career in the litigation department of Nutter, McLennan, and Fish in Boston, where I practiced both civil and criminal defense work. In 2003, I went to work for legal services in Bridgeport, where I represented people facing eviction. Seeing my clients struggle with poverty, physical and mental disability, addiction, and in many cases, a language barrier, left a lasting impression on me and had a profound impact on the way that I approached my subsequent role as a prosecutor. For the past 18 years, I've been with the State's Attorney's Office, and since 2013 have also served as a Special Assistant U.S. Attorney. Over the course of my career, I have held positions in Part A and Part B. I've pinch hit in juvenile, and I've argued before the state Supreme Court. I've tried cases in federal and state court and before judges and juries alike. I've prosecuted murders and other violent crimes, as well as those involving financial malfeasance. Meanwhile, I am proud of my efforts with the Bar Association and with the Division of Criminal Justice to address issues related to diversity and implicit bias in the criminal justice system and the legal profession. And last but not least, I've enjoyed teaching and advising public safety professionals throughout the state and mentoring interns at the State's Attorney's Office and through the Lawyers Collaborative for Diversity. 25 years ago, I received my acceptance letter from UConn Law and decided to make the legal profession my life's work. I believe I've earned a reputation as a hardworking, honest, and humble person. I have always felt that judges, attorneys, clerks, and the entire courthouse staff are essential, each in their own way, and nobody is any more or less valuable than anyone else. And I've learned that even when litigants disagree with a judge's ruling, they will usually accept it so long as they feel their voice was heard the proceeding was fair, and the court's reasoning was clearly articulated and respectfully conveyed. If approved, I promise to bring my humility, my compassion, and experience with me to the bench. Again, thank you for considering my appointment, and I would be very happy to answer any questions you have for me at this time.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments from the committee? Representative Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Attorney Shea, as a fellow prep alum, just want to congratulate you on your nomination. Look forward to working with you days and wish you luck.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Congratulations. Maybe laugh, maybe cry, but never say die.
That's right.
Luck, sir. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments? If not, Attorney Shea, congratulations and thanks for sticking with us today.
Thank you, Representative Stafford. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Next up will be Neda Vadi. Good afternoon. If you could raise your right hand for me.
Thank you.
Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and give us your opening statement.
Thank you. Chairs Winfield, Staffstrom, Ranking Members Kissel, Fishbein, Vice Chairs Flexer and Blumenthal, and esteemed members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Neda Vadi, and I am both honored and humbled to be before you today. I wish to thank Governor Lamont for the faith and trust he has shown in me by his nomination. I also want to thank the many people who have been part of my professional and personal journey, including my colleagues, mentors, assistants, and my loving and supportive family. My husband, Dave, to whom I've been married for 27 years, our two sons, Ryan and Sean, now 22 and 20, who not only bring immense joy to my life, but who also inspire me as they work hard to boldly pursue their dreams. My in-laws, and the two people who have been most influential in my life, my parents, Partha Binu and Makijani, who are here with me today. The example my parents set has shaped the person I am. I was born in Mumbai, India. When I was 2 years old, my parents made the courageous decision to leave their families to search for a better life for my sister and me. They left with very little money, embarking on a journey that took us from India to Africa to Canada, and eventually to West Hartford, Connecticut, where my parents still live in the very house in which I grew up. I watched as my parents worked hard, made many sacrifices, and suffered unimaginable loss. Despite the challenges and hardships they faced, they continued to show love and appreciation for what we had, and they generously shared with others. Living a life of humility and always seeking to help others, my father, who's now 86 years old, until last semester, was teaching classes at a local university. My mother, who is now 82 years old, continues until this day to volunteer at a hospital and in a local school. It is because of their inspiration that I live a life of gratitude and purpose, doing my best to make the most of each day and remembering that simple acts of kindness can have a ripple effect and change the lives of others. It is because of this perspective I have always tried to find ways to give back and be engaged in my community, as well as looking for ways to serve within my profession. While the majority of my career has been devoted to civil litigation, I have also had the fortune to work with students at Quinnipiac Law School and the great privilege to work with the Office of the Senate Democrats. It has truly been an honor to work in this building, where so many dedicated people, senators, representatives, and staff on both sides of the aisle, and many others, work countless hours to serve the residents of this state. I applied to be a Superior Court judge after great thought and careful consideration, asking myself how I might best be able to use the skills I have acquired over my life to make a positive difference in the lives of others. I have a background in litigation with trial experience serving in a neutral capacity, being able to listen carefully and render decisions objectively and impartially. I have represented both plaintiffs and defendants in civil action, enabling me to see varied perspectives. I have a strong work ethic and conscientious and compassionate. Taking into account these skills and attributes, I feel confident in my abilities and in making a lifelong commitment to serve the residents of the state as a Superior Court judge. If confirmed, I promise to work diligently every day to be fair and impartial, to listen carefully and treat everyone with respect, and to always maintain humility and the highest level of integrity. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Representative Fishman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Attorney Vadi. And no questions. I just want to let you know that a colleague of mine who I respect their word and recommendation, Martha Triplett, did reach out to me and spoke very highly of you. And I do congratulate you on your nomination here to be a Superior Court judge. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments? If not, Attorney Vadi, congratulations and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up will be Joseph Viscarando.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. If you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, to help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. Go ahead and ready for your opening statement whenever you are.
Thank you. Esteemed members of the Judiciary Committee, my name is Joseph Viscarando. I feel honored and privileged to appear before this committee, and I want to thank Governor Lamont for this wonderful opportunity and for the confidence he has shown in me by this nomination. By way of personal background, Connecticut is my home. I was born and raised here. For more than 25 years, my parents, Jose and Milagros, served the community as elementary school principals in the Bridgeport public school system and raised my brother and I nearby in Trumbull. I attended public school and eventually married my high school sweetheart, Brianne. She is now a practicing physician. She and I both went to college at Wesleyan in Middletown, and now we're raising two incredible little boys, Jamie and Charlie. Simply put, my family and I love our Connecticut community, and it has truly shaped who we are. I just wanted to acknowledge that and to thank my family for their incredible support. In my professional life, it has been my honor to be part of Connecticut's federal justice system, and as a prosecutor in the public service, I have done my very best to be fair and just, and to act with due humility in bringing to bear the considerable powers of the prosecutor's office. The matters I have been involved in have been varied, complex, and challenging, and the work has been equal parts thrilling and humbling. After nearly 20 years of legal experience and 10 as a prosecutor, it is my hope to continue to serve this incredible state as a judge of the Superior Court,
If I am ultimately confirmed to serve, I promise that the people of Connecticut will have the very best I am capable of. I will bring to the job every ounce of skill, care, dedication, passion, and empathy I have it within me to give. And the members of this committee can be assured that I will never act from selfish motives or forget my obligations to all who come before the court seeking justice. I will strive every day to be worthy of the bench. I will act with kindness and respect, and I will strive to uphold the dignity of the institution. I hope that you will deem my legal experiences in civil practice, criminal prosecution, and my work in the federal judiciary as a law clerk to be strong assets that will allow me to contribute to the court's mission. Lastly, I hope you will consider my personal experiences, including my Puerto Rican heritage, as qualities that can add to the court's diversity and richness of experience, and view those qualities as assets to an institution tasked with ensuring justice for all. I thank you again for this amazing opportunity and welcome your questions.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments? If not, Attorney Viscarando, thank you for being with us today. Congratulations on your nomination, and thank you for your work and break for me.
Thank you, Chairman.
Next up will be Matthew Weiner. Attorney Weiner, it's been a while, but good to see you.
See you as well.
If you could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or in a penalty of free?
I do.
Great. You can go ahead with your opening statement.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chairman Winfield, Chairman Staffstrom, ranking members Kissel and Fishbein, and esteemed members of the Judiciary Committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. Thank you also to Governor Lamont for nominating me to serve as a judge of the Superior Court. If approved by this committee and by the General Assembly, I will honor the confidence and trust placed in me. And thank you to my family, my friends, my colleagues, and my mentors. Without their support, I would not be here. My name is Matthew Weiner. I live in Hartford with my wife, Megan Cooper, and our 4-year-old son, Ari. I moved to Hartford in 2003 for law school and never left. My journey to becoming a lawyer began by studying jurisprudence at Amherst College. It continued at the University of Connecticut School of Law, where I became passionate about the study of law and about the role that lawyers play in shaping society. After completing law school, I clerked for Justice Richard Palmer of the Connecticut Supreme Court. After my clerkship, I worked for 5 years as an associate in the business litigation group of McCarter and English. From my colleagues and mentors at the firm, I learned how to be an advocate, how to serve a client, and most importantly, how the law impacts people's lives, their careers, their businesses, and their personal relationships. I applied these lessons while representing the firm's private clients and while representing my pro bono clients, including the Connecticut Innocence Project. I left private practice in 2012 to take a position as a prosecutor in the Appellate Bureau of the Office of the Chief State's Attorney. I was drawn to the opportunity to devote the next phase of my career to fine-tuning my research, writing, and oral argument skills, all while serving the public. I currently represent the state in criminal appeals pending before the Appellate Court and the Supreme Court, and provide advice and guidance to prosecutors handling criminal matters at the trial level. I've been active in recruiting new attorneys to the Division of Criminal Justice, and along with a colleague, started a fellowship program designed to increase diversity within the division. Right behind my love of the law is my love of baseball. And for nearly 7 years, I was honored to serve as a coach for the Hartford American Legion baseball team. During my first year in college, I realized how fortunate I was to be in that place, benefiting from that education. It was at that point that I resolved to use my education and my career to help others. Now I hope to use my education, as well as my professional and personal experiences, to make a more direct impact on my community. I respectfully request your approval to serve as a judge at the Superior Court and I welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments from the committee? If not, Attorney Weiner, I want to extend my congratulations, and also Speaker Ritter wanted me to pass along his best too as well today. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
All right, that concludes our nominations for judges of the Superior Court. We will next hear from our two candidates to be family support magistrates. First up will be Michael Daly.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Daly, if you could raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or in a penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. You can go ahead with an opening statement.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Chairman Winfield, Chairman Staffstrom, ranking members Kissel and Fishbein, and other esteemed committee members. My name is Michael Daly. I first want to thank Governor Lamont for nominating me to serve as a family support magistrate. If approved by this committee and the General Assembly, I will dedicate my efforts to justify the confidence placed in me. By way of personal background, I'm a lifelong Connecticut resident, having resided in Hartford, New Britain, and now in Farmington with my wonderful wife, who's here with me today, who's a judge of probate. We raised our son, Mac Daly, a Hartford lawyer, and we are most proud of him. As a family deeply rooted in the profession, it's been instilled in me to value integrity, fairness, quality, and to always foster respect for individuals and the human condition. I'm a graduate of Trinity College and Western New England School of Law. During law school and immediately thereafter, I clerked in the Superior Court and worked for law firms, including the law firm I'm affiliated with to this very day. The following years of practice gave me extensive exposure to most aspects of litigation, including negligence, criminal, and family law. Besides practicing law for the better part of 3 decades, I have deemed it very important to contribute to the profession and the community. I have engaged in pro bono representation of victims of domestic violence. I have been on the House of Delegates and the Board of Governors of the Connecticut Bar Association, co-chaired a committee on courthouse security and access, been a commissioner on the Freedom of Information Commission, also a coach, a committee member of my town committee, as well as on a board of a local nonprofit recreation facility. I hope these activities have made even some small difference in the profession I'm in and my community, and hope to do the same in the new position I seek. In closing, I wish to thank my family, friends, and colleagues for their support over the course of my career. I believe I have the temperament and experience to serve the citizens of Connecticut in this capacity. I respectfully request your approval and thank you all for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Questions or comments from the committee? Questions or comments, Representative Fishbein?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, sir. How are you today? What experience do you have, knowledge, your internet thing went out for a while there, with what a family support magistrate does?
Yes, well, as you know, a lot of pro se's are appearing in that, as well as the Attorney General. I do not have experience of being in that particular court, but I did do extensive family work for a major portion of my career. I was not a family lawyer exclusively, probably the first half of my career, which it borders on almost, well, I'm in the high end of the 30s in my career. So I'm very familiar with it.
So I would expect that you have the ability to do like child support guidelines by hand without a software program, as I learned, right?
I've actually reviewed that exactly to refresh my recollection by hand. Yes, I have done that.
Okay. And we've had some family support magistrates come before us this session who indicated to us their schedule and the fact that I think one gentleman is traveling almost all four corners of the state every day. Should you get an assignment like that, is that something that you're prepared for?
Yes, in fact, that is the one thing that I was told about the position, is that you could be assigned anywhere around the state. It's generally on one day you're somewhere and the next day you're in another. And I'm totally prepared for that. In fact, for me, one of the highlights of my being a litigator was I really enjoyed going to the various courts. So that part, actually, I relish that, actually.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had, and congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Representative.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments? If not, Mr. Daly, congratulations.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the time. I know it's been a busy day for all of us. Thank you.
Sure has. And the technology glitches have not helped, but we appreciate
it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
All right. Next up will be Ramona Mercado Espinosa.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ma'am. If you could raise your right hand for me.
Yes, do you want me to stand?
No, as long as I can see your hand, you're good.
Okay.
All right. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. Whenever you're ready, you can go ahead with the opening.
Ready. Good afternoon, Chairman Winfield, Chairman Strastrom, ranking members, Kissel and Fishbein, and distinguished members of the Judiciary Committee. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be in your presence today. And I know it's been a very harrowing day for everybody, but especially for you. I also want to thank Governor Lamont for nominating me for the position of Family Support Magistrate. I am deeply honored and humbled. By way of background, I have been married to my wonderful and hardworking husband, who's here with you today, for 35 years. Together, we have two healthy sons, ages 33 and 23. They are the sunshine of our lives. In 1967, when I was 10 years old, my parents and 8 siblings moved from our farm in Puerto Rico to New Britain, Connecticut. At that time, I did not speak any English, but quickly learned it and became bilingual. I will always admire my parents' work ethic, as they immediately secured jobs in factories. And within a year, they were able to purchase a home in which we'd also live in and play safely in our backyard. Even though my parents are no longer with us, I cherish the life lessons they taught me. At an early age, I learned the value of hard work. I also learned fairness, honesty, integrity, and to treat others as I want to be treated. When I was a teenager, we were encouraged to find employment to contribute to the family budget. My first job was picking and sewing tobacco in Windsor, Connecticut. The backbreaking job paid for my shoes, clothes, and even bicycles for my younger siblings. Thereafter, I worked as a community organizer, organizing low-income residents in New Britain. I also coordinated the catechism program at St. Mary's Church in New Britain. While in college, I continued working to pay for my studies. As soon as I graduated from Central State University, I attended UConn School of Law. While at UConn, I am proud that I was part of a team that formed the first Latin Law Student Association, which is still ongoing. I graduated from UConn in 1986 and was admitted to the bar that same year. Soon thereafter, I became a deputy assistant public defender at GA14 in Hartford. After 3 years, I went into private practice and continued representing indigent persons as a special public defender. I also represented the diverse communities of the Greater Hartford area. In 1998, while in private practice, I was appointed as sworn in as a small claims magistrate for Banton, Meriden, Middletown, and Waterbury. I resigned from that position in 2006 to become a family law attorney at Greater Hartford Legal Aid. For the past 15 years, I have been a family law attorney serving low-income people in Hartford, Newburgh, and in Rockville. While at Legal Aid, I have represented hundreds of men and women who are domestic violence victims and survivors. It is important to me and to my family to be actively involved in the community. As a lawyer, I have been involved in various organizations, including Legal Aid. I was on the board for many years before becoming employed by them. I was also appointed by the Speaker of the House to the Public Defender Commission, of which I am still an active member. For the past 11 years, I have also been a member of the Connecticut Innocence Project Fund Committee. I have spent my entire career helping and representing people, including the last 15 years, concentrating on family law and family support magistrate court. I am grateful to Governor Lamont for his confidence in me and seek your approval and appointment. If appointed, I vow to be like the many judges and magistrates that I have admired during the past 35 years. I will decide the facts and apply the law. I will be patient and empathetic, respectful and mindful of the legal rights of the people of our NUMEC state. I thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, I welcome them.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Kissel.
Thank you very much, Chairman Staffstrom, Attorney Mercado Espinosa. Congratulations. As the members of the committee know, I grew up in the town of Windsor, and my very first job was picking tobacco, and you had indicated that was your first job in Windsor. So I'm just wondering who you worked with. My farm was, or the farm I worked with was Lex and Phelps Kendrick Tobacco. What was yours?
Cobra Tobacco, the Cobra Company.
Okay, the big guys.
Yes.
Were you in the shed?
Initially, I was working out in the fields, cleaning tobacco and making sure that it grew well. And later on, I was moved into the sheds to sell.
Okay. It's a humbling background, but it gives you a definite appreciation for what hard work is. And I have to say, as my first job, I always liked being able to earn the money that I earned, which was like $1.15 an hour. Probably about the same for you.
That's correct.
Anyhow, a lifetime of public service, and I think this is a nice capstone. I think everything that you've touched in your professional career will give you that ability to relate to all the folks that come before you, whether represented by counsel or pro se. And I, again, wish you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Representative Fishbein.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Attorney Mercado Espinosa.
Good afternoon.
I'm looking at the backup, and you gave very detailed information about two matters in which you were sued. And just procedurally, the second matter, when you found out about the silent partner, did you go back to the trial court? It seems like in the narrative.
We did, Your Honor. We went back to Judge Facito, who was no longer at Hartford. We went to Waterbury, and she ruled in our favor. However, we still had to appeal it to the appellate court, and we lost at the appellate court level.
Yeah, that's the link that I'm just trying to figure out. So you claimed like fraudulent transfer or some sort of fraud negatively impacted the divorce resolution. So then you're back before the trial judge. The trial judge ruled in your favor. what did you need to appeal?
The other attorney did not agree with Judge Pizzuto's decision, and decided that he would not go along. I can't remember the facts of, she found that Mr. Almeida had not been truthful to the court. That's what she found in the first instance at the trial. And when we went back to her, we filed, I can't remember the motion we filed, but I did go and argue in front of her. Counsel did not show up. Opposing counsel did not show up. And they refused to relent. They continued saying that our client didn't have clear title. We explored to quiet title. We weren't able to do that. And then along with Attorney Shea in our office, we appealed. I think the other party appealed.
Okay, so that's where I got a little confused, because the way this is written, it says we appealed, which would have
I
meant
think it
that-
was attorney, now I'm forgetting his name.
So it's the opposing lawyer who appealed.
Appealed, yes.
Okay, because I mean, the date that you give us for this situation is 2020, so it wasn't that long ago.
Correct. We tried the case, I think, in 2013, but it took a long time to go through the entire process.
Okay, so then you were sued as a result of what? If you won at the trial court level and the other side appealed, and I can't tell what the results of the appeal was based upon the narrative, why were you sued as a result of that?
Because our client didn't have full title to the property. There was a silent partner in Brazil, and the attorney won at the appellate level. The appellate level agreed that it wasn't sufficient just to say to quit claim the property when there was a silent partner.
Oh, okay. So quick claim deed, like I can give you a quick claim deed to the Brooklyn Bridge, right? But if I don't own it, you're not getting anything. It's not worth the paper. So because there was someone else on the property, I got it now. And then your client said, well, you should have looked into whether or not the husband had clear title in order to convey to her solely the ownership. So I got it. It's a due diligence issue. Well, I thank you for that, and congratulations on your nomination. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments from the committee? Seeing none, ma'am, thanks for sticking with us, and congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
You too. All right, we are moving on to nominations to review to be Workers' Compensation Administrative Law Judges, which is a new term of art. First up will be Brenda Gennada.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm okay. How are you doing?
Good.
And if you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm as the case may be that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. You can go ahead with your opening statement.
Good afternoon, Senator Winfield, Representative Stafstrom, Senator Kissel, Representative Fishbein, and distinguished members of the Judiciary Committee. My name is Brenda Gennada, and I'm honored to appear before you today as a nominee for Administrative Law Judge of the Workers' Compensation Commission. I am truly grateful to Governor Lamont for nominating me to a second term. During my initial 3 years at the Workers' Compensation Commission, I served in the district office in Stamford, and since the spring of 2020, I have served in the district office in Bridgeport. During the last 5 years, I have presided over thousands of informal and pre-formal hearings as a fair and impartial fact finder and mediator between the parties to resolve disputes in cases or make appropriate awards of benefits with the ultimate goal of ensuring that workers injured on the job receive prompt payment of lost time benefits and attendant medical expenses. I have also tried over 100 formal hearings to final decision where agreements could not be reached between the parties. I also serve as a mediator through the Mediator Services Program, where I facilitate communication and assist the parties to work out a mutually acceptable resolution on complex legal cases prior to going to trial or for settlement. For calendar year 2020, I was appointed by the Chief Administrative Law Judge to serve as a panel member on the Compensation Review Board, to hear appeals and to affirm, modify, or reverse the decision of an administrative law judge. I graduated from the University of Connecticut School of Law in 1999. I'm admitted to the practice of law in Connecticut. I also received my Bachelor's of Arts in Political Science from the University of Connecticut. I reside in Westport with my husband, Anthony, and our 2 children who are in high school. My goal as an administrative law judge is to help claimants obtain reasonable, necessary medical treatment for their injuries in an expedited manner so they can return to employment. Helping individuals has been an extremely rewarding experience, and I feel that I have been fair and just to all parties in my position. It has been an honor and privilege to serve in this capacity, and I thank you for your consideration. If you have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Senator Kissel.
Thank you very much, Chairman Staffstrom. I guess, Your Honor, I don't know if we did it or how it happened, but it used to be, and this is along the lines of what Chairman Staffstrom said, it used to be a workers' compensation commissioner, and now it's an administrative law judge for the Workers' Compensation Commission. I'm just wondering how that nomenclature changed.
So the legislature changed it at this point. So I think it was during the last legislative session, you changed it at the legislature.
Did any of your powers change, or was it just nomenclature?
Just the name, just the title.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Senator Kessel.
Further questions or comments? Further questions or comments? Representative Fishbein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, Your Honor. You gave us some data here about the informal hearings and the formal hearings, and that I guess from the filing of a claim, your average timing for an informal hearing is about 3 weeks. Am I reading that correctly?
I think the office in Hartford tracks all of that, all the statistical information on that, but typically we can get somebody in quicker. So when we have a hearing, we actually write on the, on the hearing notes when we would like to have another hearing. So the initial hearing, I'm not sure how long it takes. That sounds about right. What you're saying, if that's what's reported, then that's what the office in Hartford is tracking, and that's the time for the initial hearing. And then after that, we can schedule it.
And then after that informal initial hearing, do you put some sort of writing together, or is it, purely what it says, informal?
So after we have the first informal hearing, at that point, we decide whether it remains at an informal hearing, and then we would determine what the issues would be moving forward and what the time frame would be for the next hearing.
And what's the turnaround if you're getting these new files in for an informal hearing in about 3 weeks? What's the turnaround on some sort of, or is everything resolved as far as the track at that point, at that informal hearing?
So it really depends on the issue. If it's something simple, it could be resolved within the first hearing. If it's something more complicated, then it could take multiple hearings, and it may not even be resolved at an informal hearing. It could go to a formal hearing. So it really depends on what the issue is that's being raised.
Okay. And I do note that the document indicates, I think it's for the entire office, the productivity, not necessarily the files that you're handling, but that's looks like a good number to me. So I had no other questions, so congratulations on your nomination. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Fishbein.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions or comments? If not, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
All right, next up will be Peter Milarnik.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. We're ready for your opening statement.
Thank you. Senator Winfield, Representative Safstrom, Senator Kissel, Representative Fishbein, and distinguished members of this committee. I would like to begin by thanking you for your time and the opportunity to appear before you today. I would also like to thank Governor Lamont for nominating me for another term. I appreciate his faith in my ability to continue in this position. I was born and raised in New Britain and spent most of my life there. And in 2014, I moved to Haddam, where I now live with my lovely wife, Tatiana, and stepdaughter, Victoria. I've been with the Workers' Compensation Commission since 2006 and have sat in Hartford, New Britain, Waterbury, Middletown, and Norwich, and I am presently sitting in Middletown. My work on the commission has been especially rewarding during the past 2 years. In response to the COVID pandemic, the commission suspended hearings for only 2 days, during which time Chairman Morelli formulated a plan which led us to pivot to phone hearings and online trials utilizing Microsoft Teams. As a result, we were able to get claimants the benefits to which they were entitled and try disputed issues and claims all at virtually the same pace as before the pandemic. I look forward to going to work every day, knowing that I am able to help people resolve issues and make a real difference in their lives. Thank you again for your time, and I will gladly entertain any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Senator Kissel, that from before? All right. Representative Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to bring greetings to my Haddam constituent. It's so great to see you, and I wish you all the best. Thank you
so much.
Further questions or comments from the committee? Further questions, comments? If not, congratulations, sir, and thanks for sticking with us today.
Thank you very much.
All right. Finally, last but certainly not least on our list, we have Zachary Delaney. Sir, if you could raise your right hand for me. Do you swear or affirm, as the case may be, that the information provided to this committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, or under penalty of perjury?
I do.
Great. If you have an opening statement, you can go ahead this time.
Good afternoon, Senator Winfield, Representative Safstrom, Senator Kissel, Representative Fishbein, and distinguished members of this committee. My name is Zach Delaney. I thank you for the opportunity to appear in front of you today. I'd also like to thank Governor Lamont for nominating me to serve as the administrative law judge for workers' compensation. I grew up in
both sessionals work.
Sorry about that.
Oh, everything all right?
Yep, you're all set.
I grew up in West Hartford. I went to UConn for undergraduate and for the law school. I still reside in West Hartford now with my girlfriend, Alicia. After graduating law school in 2012, I was offered a full-time position as an attorney at Pomerantz, Drayton, and Stadnick in Glastonbury. I've worked there for the last 10 years as an attorney and for a year prior as a law clerk, practicing exclusively in the area of workers' compensation. In that position, I've had the opportunity to try cases before the commission and appeals before the Compensation Review Board, the Intermediate Appellate Board. I've also handled and written briefs on my own cases for the Appellate Court and the Supreme Court. I practice in front of the administrative law judges at the Department of Labor under the Longshore and Harbor Workers Act. And there, I've tried cases before the administrative law judges, taken an appeal to the Benefits Review Board, which is their Intermediate Appellate Board, and ultimately to the United States Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit, although I was denied oral argument. If confirmed, I look forward to serving the people of Connecticut. I know the Workers' Compensation Act at its core is humanitarian in nature and really promotes the parties working together to return injured workers back to the workforce. I feel confident, if nominated and confirmed, that I'd be able to facilitate the resolution of issues between the parties and make a difference in the lives of the injured workers. Again, I thank you for your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Representative Quinn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I just want to say to my fellow members on the committee that I've had the pleasure of being on opposite sides of Attorney Delaney for as long as he's been practicing in workers' compensation. And he has the right temperament and skill and knowledge set that he's going to make an excellent workers' compensation ALJ. And I look forward to voting to confirm him at some point this session.
Thank you, Representative Quinn. Hopefully that vote will be shortly. Representative Conley.
Thank you, Representative Stastrom. I will express similar sentiments to Representative Quinn. I've also been on the other side of the table of Attorney Delaney since he's been practicing law, and he's always been fair, polite, on time, and knows the law. I think he'll make a very good administrative law judge and be fair to the people of Connecticut.
Thank you.
Well, that would be good enough for me when you've got two of your opponents who sit on this committee who are vouching for you after being opponents with you. So, unless, of course, Representative Gilchrist has something otherwise to say. Representative Gilchrist?
No, I don't, Mr. Chair. Just want to thank Mr. Delaney for all of the contributions he gives to our community of West Hartford, and I'm excited to support his nomination. Thank you.
Thank you. Further questions or comments from the committee? If not, congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our nominees. We do have one member of the public who has signed up to testify. So, Madam Administrator, if we could arrange that. I believe it's Ali Sexton.
He is in the room.
All right. Mr.
Wait,
Sexton.
hold on. She's back. She got out. She's back in.
Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long day, so I'm not going to read my written testimony that I submitted. I just I'm testifying. My name is Ali Sexton. I'm from Glastonbury. Was testifying in favor of the nomination of Chris Griffin to be a Superior Court judge. I've known him through my service on the Planning and Zoning Commission in the town of Glastonbury, where I serve as an alternate. I knew him before that as our mutual service on the Democratic Town Committee. Chris is humble, he's intelligent, he's thoughtful, he's respectful. And I know this is a big issue for this committee, is that that robitis is a big issue for this committee. And I can assure you that I have no doubts that he will never develop robitis. I think you heard a story that his father was in prison, a story I learned today myself, but I've only known him to be just the most respectful person. And because of his young age, I know this is a little presumptuous of me. I want to be clear, it's presumptuous of me, not him. I do expect you will see him before this committee again sometime in the future as either an appellate or a Supreme Court justice. He's that intelligent, he's that thoughtful, respectful, humble, And as I said, don't hold that against him. I do urge you to confirm him. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you sticking with us through the better part of the day today to be able to offer that support. All right, seeing no further questions and having no one else signed up to testify, Madam Administrator, do we need to change links or are we staying where we are?
I think we should change links. I hate to tempt fate, but I just don't know if people will know to join the public hearing link.
Right. So what I am going to do is I am going to close our public hearing. I am going to convene our committee meeting for March 24th. And we will stand in recess for until 3:50. We will reconvene at 3:50 on the other Zoom link.
On the other link, right? Yeah.
And Madam Administrator, maybe we could pop that to the top of people's inboxes too while we're at it. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.